Well, after years of debates over rules on short-term rentals in New Orleans and illegal short-term rentals slipping through the cracks, the city says it is finally cracking down.
But is the crackdown actually fixing the problem? With the main complaints, affordable housing and safety concerns. Tonight, WDSU investigative reporter Cassie Sherm looks at the real impact on housing, neighborhoods, and the people who live there.
In neighborhoods in New Orleans, from Mid-City to Treme to the Garden District, neighbors tell me they've watched their communities change, but some say not for the better.
We did not move here to be in a commercial area.
But with thousands of people who travel here every year, the need for short-term housing is real. So I take a look at the heart of the debate and why so many people nationwide are watching what's happening here.
No controls, there's no registration, the identities of the guests are never shown.
WDSU Investigates has been covering this as early as 2016. For years, illegal short-term rentals slipping through the cracks, operating without permits, avoiding taxes, and ignoring city rules. And watchdogs say that problem wasn't just neighborhood disruption, it was costing the city real money.
In actually just one day, the Office of Inspector General quickly identified about 12 short-term rental properties operating illegally and unregistered in the city. We then estimated that the city could levy and collect a minimum of about $500 per night, which could result in fines of at least $519,000.
And in some cases, illegal rentals becoming safety hazards.
It can be very dangerous if you have a couple of juveniles who decide they're going to rent it and have a party. And it depends on whether it's them or other people coming that have guns, weapons, illegal narcotics. It can really disrupt the neighborhood and turn bad very quickly.
Now, after years of warnings, frustrated residents, and lawsuits, the city says it's cracking down.
Overnight, we saw hundreds, if not, over 1,000 listings just disappear off the platforms overnight.
Safety and permits data obtained by WDSU Investigates shows more than 4,385 illegal short-term rental listings were removed just last year. 875 so far this year, along with more than $1.5 million in fines over the last 2 years. The heaviest enforcement areas and neighborhoods: the Marigny, Bywater, Treme, Mid-City, Central City, and Warehouse District.
Everyone is definitely ecstatic to see this. Unpermitted, illegal actors reap the benefits and not face any of the consequences.
Michael Springer, who runs a licensed short-term rental company, says the biggest problem hasn't been the rules.
Since 2017, there's been 4 different rounds of short-term rental regulations. So it's just like the problem has always been the lack of enforcement until this past August 1st. And so that's been phenomenal.
But not everyone thinks the crackdown is working the way the city claims. Some residents say it's hitting the wrong people, penalizing New Orleanians who were already following the rules.
I don't think me renting a room in my spare bedroom is the same thing as someone renting out an entire unit that can be used for local housing. So it just didn't feel fair that we were getting grouped in.
In 2023, the city launched a lottery system for residential STR permits, limiting rentals to just 1 per square block. But winning doesn't go to the most compliant or responsible. It comes down to chance.
It was devastating because I just always wanted to do things the right way and follow the rules. And to lose my ability to rent a room to someone who was illegally renting out an entire unit just made me not believe in what they were trying to do.
Initially, the push to regulate was to create more affordable housing and make sure neighborhoods weren't overrun by rentals. But some renters say the shift hasn't made housing that much more affordable.
Affordable rentals are hard to find. Making fewer Airbnbs is one thing, but then on the other side of that, it becomes a rental and people are charging those higher prices. You see the disparity there?
I think it depends on the neighborhood that you're really in.
Dr. Michelle Thompson with the University of New Orleans says STRs didn't create the housing crisis, and banning them isn't going to solve it.
Can 2 things exist at the same time? Yes. There's a need for affordable housing, but just because they're short-term rentals doesn't necessarily mean that it's taking away from the existing housing. I think it's actually creating a new market, bringing economic development, and increasing opportunities for housing for people who are local.
Instead, she says policy should stop illegal rentals, but still allow responsible local homeowners to participate and maybe use the violation fines in a place that is much needed.
The funding that comes from the enforcement, let's put that into more resources for affordable housing. That might be a good way to utilize those funds.
Now, the legal fight is still far from over. In federal court, judges have now ruled that New Orleans does have the power to regulate short-term rentals, saying there is no fundamental right to rent property short-term. But parts of the city's rules have already been struck down from the court system, like the ban on the LLCs owning STR properties, meaning more changes could be coming.
I think it's a big win for the people of New Orleans. I'm not going to say the ship is all the way in the harbor just yet, because I know people will not agree with that, but I think they're starting to change course, and that's exactly what people want to see.
So while the city ramps up enforcement, complaints keep coming in. So far in 2025, more than 3,000 complaints have been filed against STRs, many involving noise, trash, crowding, or illegal rentals still operating without permits. Even though this is a big step moving forward, council members say the work is not done.
It takes time to win hearts and minds as enforcement increases.
And the city of New Orleans says that it is continuing enforcement and reviewing changes to bring STR rules in line with the new court rulings.
And in the meantime, legal battles continue, and so does the debate over who should be allowed to profit from New Orleans' housing market. And we will keep you posted.